today because I've been very busy the last week or so doing daft hours. But the plus point is, because the weather's been so nice, at least it has been where we are, I've been commuting on the scooter and the motorbike, and joyous it is. It reminds me of my days commuting on the old 125, which I did for many years. Great fun. One thing I did do with Nibbler is I've had big Kawasaki's before, and not one of them has started without choke. And what I mean by that is they will fire up, but they'll die after a couple of seconds unless you put a bit of choke on. And typically, like a big Kawasaki, they'll rev the balls off until you fettle the lever. But I tried this product called Seafoam the other day, and it's like a fuel cleaner sort of thing, but you can use it in oil and all sorts. And I've watched loads and loads of videos about this stuff, and a lot of the people I watch on YouTube use Seafoam. You know, they chuck it in the oil, and they chuck it in the fuel, and they chuck it in everything, and it seems to do the job. It seems to actually work. I've seen some quite good valve cleaning videos and stuff like that on diesels with Seafoam. So I bought a little bottle of Seafoam. It's not very common in the UK, but you can get it. So I managed to get some on eBay, and it was a comparable price to like your normal Wins and stuff like that. So I did that. I put a spot in Nibbler, and it's been going like a bastard. I mean, it must. I know it does clean carb jets through and stuff like that, but it's been going like a bastard. I mean, it's quite surprisingly and addictively rapid. And the other day I was at work. All right, the bike was in the sun all day and all this lot, or it was a warm day rather, and pressed the start button, and he sat there and idled without choke, and it's the first time he has ever done that. Of course, he only did it that day, but there's hope. So that Seafoam has definitely worked. So I've put a little bit in the oil. It does say that you can't put it in motorcycles. It doesn't say anything like that. But it's supposed to clean up all the oil residue in the engine where it settles and get rid of the goo. So I'll give it like a few hundred miles, and then I'll drop the oil, and we'll see how it is. But it's supposed to quieten down valve trains and stuff like that when you put it in the fuel. So I did actually put some in Phyllis as well, just in the fuel. And Phyllis is quite tappety ever since I changed the valves, and the clearances and stuff are correct, and it did quieten down a bit actually, and especially after I topped the oil up. Phyllis does use a bit of oil. Anyway, so that's them two. Pinky news. I could go across to the shed and show you where I am with Pinky, but basically I've got her up to fire. I've got her to fire the other week. In fact, I think I put the little tiny short video up of it barking off, and then I thought, brilliant, great, now I know it runs, I'll put all the plumbing in for the water cooling and all that lot. Hand gestures. So I did all that, and ever since I've put all the plumbing in, I've got a pop and a fart out of her, but she hasn't started. So I've been going through this mental process of troubleshooting, and I know I'd got the cam timing right. I know it, because there's only sort of one or two positions it can be when these lines all line up, and it's spot on, it's dead right. And then I got the multimeter and I checked the coils, as you've seen in the other video. I couldn't get anything out of them at all. So I thought, and that multimeter is quite old. So I bought myself a new multimeter, just a cheapie, but an half decent one, and checked the coils again, and I wasn't getting a regular reading out of it. So I ordered him a pair of new coils. They came the other day. So I've just like sort of test fitted them, put the leads in exactly the order that the Honda service manual says, I've got the cam cover off at the minute because I'm getting the old sealer out. You have to seal the gasket to the cam cover before you fit it to the bike, because it won't stay there itself. It does say in the service manual, you know, to seal it to this first. So that's what I'm doing. Carburetors. So yeah, so the train of thought was maybe the carbs are off and all that lot, because I've got spark, I've got compression, and I could see fuel. I could see fuel by the butterfly, so I knew it was getting all three. But it wasn't barking off, and it was driving me round the bend. I got quite frustrated with it, so I just had to take a step back and not touch it for a little while. So I've not touched it for a good week, probably a couple of days longer than that. But I had another idea. It could have been a dodgy igniter box, the CDI box. So what I did, I unplugged the CDI box and got to my magnifying glass and just had a look at all the pins and stuff like that. And there was some very, very, I wouldn't really call it corrosion, but all the pins look, you know, when they look dry, like that connector has never been apart in donkey's years and stuff like that. It looked like that, and I know that can be surface, the discoloration on it can be surface oxidisation and stuff like that. It's like a micro corrosion. So I pulled it apart, I cleaned it all up, sprayed all the pins and stuff with brake cleaner or carb cleaner, something like that, and just let it sit, and then put it back together, squirted a bit of Start You Bastard down the open throat of the bike, and she popped straight off. So whether that was the cure, I don't know, but I'm fairly confident she'll start again now. So the carbs can go back on, but I'm going to put this back on first. Throw a bit of fuel down its throat, and if she barks off, she's had a new fuel filter and whatever, and if she barks off, I can then continue the process of rebuilding it. But that's where we are with it. But I haven't filmed any of it because it was doing me noggin in. I've only used the car once, I think once in the last couple of weeks for work, but Rosie's alright, she's tickling away. I will get Slinky sorted, I will get the exhaust and get that sorted, but to be quite honest, I've just been knackered. I've been doing stupid, not antisocial hours, but I've got literally, because of my start time, I've got no time in the morning, or not a good enough chunk of time in the morning to like sort stuff out, and I don't want to do it when I get back home. So that explains sort of the lack of content, but hopefully when the test I'm doing has ended, I shall be back on some more normal hours and crack on. And Uncle, we're going to do it. We're going to give him a picture. Uncle Steve, Loop, keep him in the loop. Has got me some more of these LED strip lights. These are brilliant. This is not mounted correctly, but it's dead easy fitment. 2 wires into some spring-loaded doogie defibrillators inside. But it's got me these strip lights, and I did have it in the brick shed and mounted up. But when I was doing the carburetors in here, look at that. Oh, you fucker. Yeah, try not to look directly at it. Well, don't show it then, Jim. But you see how much difference it is. It's a beautiful crisp white light, and it's got me a I've got a couple already which are going to go in the shed, and the idea was I was going to put a couple in here and just put a jack lead across and a link lead and stuff like that. But what a difference that makes. Look, absolutely fantastic, because this shed has never ever had light. I don't know what they were originally. They were sheds, but there might have been coal bunkers or something like that, I don't know. So yeah, that's where we are. But Uncle Steve's got me a couple more of them, which I will at some point collect. And I did say to him the other week, oh, I'll collect them this week, but I've been using the bike, and I think I've seen him a couple of times actually when I've been commuting. I'm not sure. I'm sure I've seen somebody that looked awfully a lot like Steve in a combo van, so it could well have been Steve. So yes, that's where we are. I just thought I'd give you all a catch up, and yeah, I've got some rides planned out with one of my workmates who's just started at our place. I've known him for years and years and years, and he's just started at our place. But a lot of people don't go to the places I go to, I got invited out on a ride out today, but I got up in the morning, got Nibbler out this morning, polished him, which is fucking rare, lubed all the levers and stuff like that, and the foot pegs, and checked the oil, and did all that stuff, and then we just had a little light shower of rain, and it just, my enthusiasm just effed off, just completely effed off. And I am like that. If I'm in the mood to go somewhere, if I don't do it while I'm in the mood, it just goes, and I can't be coached to do it again. And I'd say I've sort of always been like that. But yeah, in my younger days, when I had me 125 and stuff like that, I didn't need an invite to get out on the bike. It was like Sunday morning, I'd ride from like Leicester to Cromer, and I'd ring my mum up and I'd say, "Guess where I am?" And she'd go, "Oh, I don't know, Derbyshire," something like that. And I'd go, "No, Cromer, saved me dinner." And I was always home for dinner. I'd love to get that enthusiasm back, but you know, life gets in the way these days, and it's just, some days after a slogging week at work and all this lot, it's just hassle that I can't be doing with. But I'm pissed off with myself today because the weather forecast said we weren't going to get like good storms till gone 4 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So I thought, now I'll put my ride away, because I rode all week. I'll delay it, and now we've just had quite a good storm, and I'm really pissed off I didn't get out. So anyway, that's your catch up this week, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. It all helps. And thanks to all of you that have had a look at eBay or something like that when I've linked to something and ended up buying something, probably not what I've recommended, but I think I've made about £1.90. So Jay, £1.90 I never had before, so it's nearly half tank on Phyllis. So thanks guys for using that link, it's brilliant. So I'll leave you to it, and hopefully some more robust sort of riding content and stuff will be coming shortly. I might just put the chest rig on and just film my little commute down the beautiful country lanes if I go in on Phyllis or something like that, because it's a totally different experience. But thanks guys, and I'll catch you later. Bye. Hey, press the button as well, it's the top one, you pig.